They said the cardamom tree was cursed, but we never believed it until that night when something watched us from its twisted branches. When I was a child, my family moved into a new house. It was a strange place, surrounded by emptiness. Unlike most neighborhoods, there were no houses close by. Our home stood almost alone, swallowed by silence, except for a single, enormous karoy tree that stood like a dark sentinel right beside our house. From the very first day, people from the nearby area warned us. They said, "Stay away from that tree. It is cursed. Something evil lives there." At first, we didn't pay much attention. We were children. My elder brother was only 8, my younger sister just 6, and I was even younger. To us, it was simply a massive tree, stretching tall into the sky, its branches twisting like bony fingers. But soon, the tree revealed its secret. One night, my father was returning home late. The wind was still, the sky heavy with darkness, and the only sound was the crunch of his footsteps on the dry earth. As he neared the tree, something caught his eye. At first, he thought it was just a shadow, but then, he froze. Perched on one of the thick branches of the karoy tree was a figure. It looked human, yet something about it was terribly wrong. Its body was hunched, limbs twisted unnaturally, and though the face was hidden in shadow, he could feel its eyes burning into him. Hesitantly, Father raised his lantern, casting light up toward the branch, and that's when he saw it clearly, a grotesque, human-like creature, with a distorted face, glaring at him with glowing eyes and a wicked, unnatural smile. Before he could react, the thing leapt from the tree. It landed on the ground with a soundless thud, standing just a few feet away from him. My father's heart nearly stopped as the creature leaned forward and whispered in a voice colder than death itself, "What you saw tonight, you must never tell anyone." Then, without another word, it sprang back up the tree with inhuman speed and vanished into the darkness of the branches. Father stumbled back to the house, pale and trembling. He tried to hide his fear, but Mother noticed immediately. She pressed him to tell her what had happened, and finally, he broke. When he revealed what he had seen, Mother's face turned white. She said in a low, fearful voice, "You should have told me earlier. We could have called a holy man. Now, it may already be too late." And that was only the beginning. The cursed tree had noticed us, and soon, it would come for us. That night, after Father revealed what he had seen, a heavy silence fell over our home. My mother lit extra lamps, whispered prayers under her breath, and kept glancing nervously at the window. My brother and sister clung close to her, while I, too young to understand everything, still felt the thick weight of fear pressing in from all directions. The air inside the house felt unnatural, as if the walls themselves were listening. Hours passed. Midnight crept closer. The entire world outside seemed to hold its breath. And then it began. Exactly as the clock struck 12, a sudden, violent sound shattered the silence. Bang! It was as though something enormous had slammed down onto our roof, something heavy, something alive. The entire house trembled. Dust drifted down from the ceiling. My brother screamed. My mother grabbed him and my sister, pulling them close, while Father stared upward in horror. Before he could move, a sound came, not from the roof, but from everywhere, from all four directions, as if the very air itself was speaking. Came a chorus of voices, deep, mocking, inhuman voices, that seemed to rattle our bones. "We warned you. You were told not to speak, but you broke the rule. Your daughter was under our gaze. We protected her. We protected all of you. And still, you defied us." The voices grew louder, overlapping, filling every corner of the house, until it felt like the walls would crack under the weight of their anger. Father collapsed to the ground, clutching his chest, his face twisted with terror. Mother cried out his name, shaking him desperately, but his body was already limp. His lips moved, but only one broken whisper escaped, "Forgive me." And then, he stopped breathing. Just like that, he was gone. The voices fell silent, replaced by a ringing emptiness. For a moment, the house was so quiet, it felt like the world had ended. Then, faintly like an echo carried by the wind, came one last whisper, cold and merciless. "This is only the beginning. That night, my father died without reason. No sickness, no wound, just the weight of something unseen. Something that crushed the life out of him. And though I was only a child, I understood one thing. The cursed tree had claimed its first victim, and it was not finished. After father's sudden death, our house became a place of unbearable silence. The lamps flickered at night, the walls seemed to breathe, and every corner felt colder than the last. Mother could no longer pretend it was fate or illness. She knew something had claimed him, something from the Koroi tree. 3 days after the funeral, her fear outweighed her grief. She wrapped us in thick shawls, and with trembling hands, led us to a distant village where an old holy man lived, one whose name was whispered whenever people spoke of spirits and curses. The arrival at the holy man's house. The holy man's home was nothing more than a mud hut, yet the moment we stepped inside, the air felt different, heavy with incense, alive with whispered prayers scratched into every wall. Strange charms hung from the ceiling, and a dim oil lamp cast shadows that seemed to shift of their own will. Mother fell to her knees before him, her voice shaking as she told him everything. The cursed tree beside our home, the figure father had seen, the warning not to speak, and father's sudden, terrifying death. The holy man listened in absolute silence, his eyes shut, as though he were already speaking to something unseen. When she finished, he opened his eyes that seemed older than time itself, and said in a grave voice, "This is no ordinary haunting. The one that visited your husband is not a wandering spirit. It is an ancient jinn, older than this land, bound to that tree. Once it marks a family, it does not forgive. It does not forget." The summoning. He ordered us to sit in a circle. He lit 3 more oil lamps, placed iron nails in the corners of the room, and began to chant verses from the Quran. His voice rose and fell, filling the small hut with a vibration that made our chests ache. At first, it was only a chill that crept along the floor. Then, the shadows on the walls began to twist, slithering like black smoke. The air grew thick, pressing against our lungs, and a foul stench of burning earth spread through the room. And then it came. The shadows pulled together, forming the outline of something hunched and grotesque. Its eyes glowed faintly, and when it spoke, its voice came from every corner of the hut at once, low, mocking, and sharp enough to pierce bone. "The jinn speaks." Yes, it was I who sat upon the tree. I warned him. I told him, "Never speak of me." But he was weak. He betrayed my command, and so, I took him. Mother clutched us tightly, but the jinn continued, its voice curling like smoke through our ears. "Do you know why I linger near your house? Why I chose your family? Because your daughter caught my eye. Her soul glowed to me in the dark. I protected her. I protected you all. From accidents, from sickness, from unseen hands. But he, your husband, broke my law." Its laughter filled the hut, horrible, jagged, inhuman. "And now, you are mine. All of you." The holy man's defiance. The holy man did not flinch. He raised his staff high, slamming it against the floor. Sparks flew from the iron nails in the corners, and the shadows recoiled with a hiss, like boiling water. His chants grew louder, rolling like thunder, until the jinn shrieked and twisted, pulling itself back into the darkness. But before it vanished, its final words slithered through the air, colder than death. "My mark is on them. Your charms will not last forever. I will wait, and when the time is right, I will return." Then the hut fell silent. The shadows returned to their rightful places. Only the smell of burnt air remained. The warning. The holy man looked at Mother, his face grave. "You cannot defeat it. At best, you can delay it. This jinn is bound to the tree and to you now. It will hunt your family for generations if it must." From beneath his robe, he drew small, hand-carved amulets, bound with verses. He pressed one into each of our hands. "Your children must wear these until they are 21. You must wear yours until the end of your life. If you remove them, even for a single night, the jinn will claim you." We clutched those amulets with shaking fingers, as though they were the only things keeping us alive. And as we walked back home that night, the wind whistling through the empty fields, I could swear I heard faint laughter drifting from the direction of the Koroi tree. The laughter of something that was not gone. Something that was waiting. For months after Father's death and the holy man's warning, our family clung desperately to the protection of the amulets. My mother made sure each of us wore them day and night. She checked them every morning, touched them before bed, and whispered prayers into our ears before blowing softly across our faces, as if to cover us with her breath like an extra shield. We lived in fear, but life went on. Until the day everything unraveled. The playground incident. It was an ordinary afternoon at school. The sun blazed in the sky, children laughed and ran across the yard, and for a brief moment, my younger sister, only 6 years old, felt like she could forget the shadows that stalked our home. She ran with her classmates, her tiny feet kicking up dust, when suddenly snap, the thin black cord around her neck broke. The amulet fell, tumbling into the dirt. She froze. For us, those amulets were more than charms. They were life itself. Her hands scrambled through the dust, but the playground was alive with running feet. Children kicked it unknowingly, stomping over it, burying it deeper, and in a matter of seconds, it was gone. She wanted to cry, but something deep inside her told her to stay silent. She brushed her dusty hands on her dress and tried to act normal, but her heart pounded like a drum. The walk home. On her way home, the air felt different, heavy, watching. The path past the Koroi tree, its black branches stretching wide, its trunk thick, like the body of a sleeping giant. The closer she came, the colder the air grew. Even the birds seemed to vanish, their songs swallowed by silence. Then she heard it, a voice, soft, teasing, almost like a lullaby. "Little one, come closer, we've been waiting for you. Your chain is broken, you are free now, come to us." Her tiny body shook. She looked up, and though she saw nothing but twisting shadows between the branches, she felt them eyes, hundreds of them, staring down at her, pulling her in. Her legs nearly gave out, but she clutched at her bare neck. And then, she froze in shock. Something was there, something heavy and cold dangling against her chest. An amulet, but not the holy man's. This one was darker, its cord thick like strands of blackened hair. The metal charm glistened as if wet, its surface carved with strange, writhing lines that seemed to shift when she stared too long. The jinn itself had placed it on her, the mother's Anise. That evening, she told Mother, "Amma, when I walked home, the tree was calling me. It said it wanted to take me, but look, I still have my amulet." When Mother looked, she went pale. It was not the same amulet the holy man had given. It was darker, unnatural. She tried to pull it off her daughter's neck, but her fingers burned the moment she touched it, and she let go with a cry of pain. Terrified, she whispered prayers over her again and again, forcing her to sleep with the amulet still on, because she feared that taking it off might be worse. That night, exhausted, Mother fell into a restless sleep. The nightmare. In her dream, she stood once more before the Koroi tree, but now it was alive, its branches twisting like snakes, roots slithering like veins across the earth. From its depths came the voice she dreaded most. "Her amulet broke. I could have taken her today, but I chose not to. I wanted you to suffer longer, so I gave her one of mine." The branches shook violently as the voice grew louder, mocking, merciless. "You think your prayers will save her? Foolish woman. Tomorrow, she is mine." Mother screamed, begging for mercy, but the jinn only laughed, a cruel, endless sound that split the sky itself. She woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. The morning horror. The dawn light crept into our home. Birds sang outside. Everything seemed normal. But then a sound shattered the fragile calm. A strangled, choking gasp from the corner of the room. Mother rushed over. My sister lay in her bed, her small chest barely moving. Her lips were turning blue. Her eyes were half open, staring at something we couldn't see. Mother shook her, screamed her name, but it was too late. The dark amulet was gone. Her little body was cold. The jinn had claimed her, exactly as it promised. Aftermath. The house became a tomb. Mother's screams filled the rooms for days, echoing into the lonely fields around us. My brother and I sat frozen, clinging to our own amulets so tightly our hands bled. And in the nights that followed, I sometimes thought I heard her voice, my sister's tiny giggle coming from the direction of the tree, as if she wasn't gone at all, as if she was playing beneath its shadow, as if she now belonged to it. The death of my little sister tore through our family like a blade. Her laughter was gone. Her tiny bed sat empty, and yet, at night, we still heard her, a faint whisper, a soft giggle, sometimes the sound of bare feet running across the roof when the world outside was silent. Mother stopped eating, stopped sleeping. Her eyes became hollow, her hair streaked with gray. She carried her own amulet as if it were the last rope keeping her tied to life. My brother and I children ourselves clung to ours with desperation, never daring to loosen them, even for a moment. The jinn had made its promise, and it was keeping count. The warning dream. One night, Mother dreamt again. She never told us until it was too late, but I remember how she woke up that morning, with trembling lips and eyes full of terror. In her dream, she stood in the middle of our house, but the walls were gone. Darkness stretched endlessly in every direction, and from that darkness came a voice familiar now, yet still unbearable. One by one, they will fall. I took the girl, the man before her, and soon, you, Mother begged, sobbing into the emptiness. Please, leave my children. Take me instead. The voice only laughed. Your amulet is strong, yes, but nothing lasts forever. When it breaks, you are mine, and when you are gone, they will be alone, waiting. The amulet disappears. Weeks later, it happened. On a morning heavy with rain, Mother searched her chest in panic. Her amulet, the one the holy man himself had given her, was gone. She tore the house apart, throwing pots and mats, searching in the mud outside. My brother and I searched too, but there was nothing. It had vanished, as though the jinn had reached into her very body and stolen it in the night. From that moment, her face drained of color. She knew, we all knew, she was marked. The final night. That night was the worst. Thunder rolled across the sky, lightning split the darkness, and the wind howled as though the earth itself was screaming. At midnight, the sound came again. Thud. Something enormous landed on our roof, shaking the walls. My brother clutched my eyes wide with terror. Then, from every direction, voices began to chant. They were not human, deep, echoing, crawling under our skin. We warned him not to speak. We warned her not to defy. We warned you all. The voices grew louder until they shook the floor beneath us. Mother fell to her knees, clutching her chest. She screamed into the darkness, take me, and leave my children." For a moment, there was silence. Then the roof cracked like thunder, and the voice replied, "It is already decided." She convulsed, her body arching unnaturally, her eyes rolling back. We rushed to her side, but before we could touch her, she went still. Just like father, just like my sister, the jinn had claimed her too. The survivors. After that night, the house never felt the same. It was emptier, darker, as though shadows clung to every corner. My brother and I remained, clinging to the last protection we had, our amulets. The holy man returned when he heard the news. His face was grave. He told us, "You must never take them off. Not until the appointed years have passed. Obey every rule, every restriction, or it will come for you too." We were children, but we obeyed. We had no choice. Decades later, now, I am over 40, my brother too. The holy man's instructions had said the amulets could be removed after 21 years. But neither of us dared. Even today, we wear them. Even today, we whisper the prayers he gave us before sleep. Even today, we lock our bodies tight before night falls, as though shutting ourselves against unseen hands pressing at our doors. Because, even after all these years, sometimes we still hear it. The thud on the roof, the whispers around the house, the giggle of a little girl, calling from the Croy tree, and I know deep inside that the jinn never forgot us. It is waiting, patient, endless, and when the amulets finally fail, it will come to finish what it started. Did you enjoy the story? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Horror Dream. Want more stories like this? Subscribe to The Horror Dream, and we'll bring you more darkness, just for you. If you enjoy a little chill down your spine, Stick around, like, share, and hit that subscribe button right here on The Horror Dream. Your support keeps us going, so stay with us. Subscribe to The Horror Dream for more spine-tingling tales.